Hey, what's up, guys? Here in another episode of Eli and Mike in the city of Beverly Hills. As you know, we are always bringing up new guests here coming to our podcast. We have an amazing person who is not just a businesswoman, but also a huge entrepreneur and a really good friend of ours. We have Leslie Ocampo here with us today.
Hello.
Leslie, welcome, Leslie.
Thank you.
This is so excited. We've always worked with you for so many years. At one point we worked at the same company, but now we have all kind of went our own separate ways.
Yes.
But
Right.
even though that occurred, we're still working with you to this day. So it's so beautiful to have good friends like you and to stay in communication with good business partners as well.
Yes.
And
So
it's always
thank
good
you.
to not burn bridges. Like, I feel like even though we may have transitioned from one company to another, and we don't necessarily work for the same companies, but I like that we stayed close, intuitive, and also found ways
Of
to
course.
work together, which I think is very fascinating,
Yeah, I totally agree.
Love it,
I love that.
it. And you're working in Long Beach right now, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, okay. It's amazing to be sitting here with you because I'm also a real estate agent, and Leslie is one of the top real estate agents in all of California, but more so running like Long Beach
Long
area.
Beach area.
How is the market out there in the Long Beach area running
Well,
for
it's
you?
moving. You know, I don't go by how the market is. I think I'm more like if you treat this as a regular job, it's always gonna be a good market.
Love that.
You're always gonna be producing.
Yeah, so then basically for people who are watching out there are real estate agents, mortgage originators. Basically what you're saying is that you just have to always keep moving even in down markets. And because you've been through the down markets like
Right.
COVID in 2008 and even in these times that there was down markets, do you feel like you always had business?
Yes. I always have business because the same reason, like we had to treat this business as a regular, business, that open every single day. There is agents that you're going to meet, they're going to tell you, oh, the market, it's bad, now with the new president, and 100 excuses, but it's because they're not prospecting.
Yes. Right,
That's
right,
huge.
right.
I mean, and coming from a very experienced realtor like yourself, the fact is, you just brought up the fact prospecting. A lot of people don't do that, and
don't
that's
do
really
that.
how they fall behind, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed that when we used to work together, or even now in today's market, because let's be real, rates are kind of very
Yeah.
difficult to work with, and clients are also very difficult to work with. So I feel like with those two combined, if you're not making those extra calls, following up,
Right.
Especially being in the business, you're not going to get business.
Exactly. Like you need to talk to people every single day in order to survive in real estate. I'm working right now with an agent that he's telling me that he's been in the business for 15 years, and he's very pushy, and he's desperate. Like you can tell that he's desperate. So I came to the conclusion that that's the only escrow that he has.
wow.
That's why he acted the way that he acted.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, if you are consistent and treat this, and I always tell my agents, treat this as a regular job, because if you do, you're always gonna have escrows.
Yes.
Yeah,
I couldn't
So
agree
it-
more. I mean,
Right.
honestly, Mike can agree with me. It's been very tough for a lot of people. We're huge in prospecting.
Yeah.
Even this atmosphere of podcasting, visiting offices, running the streets and doing our fashion, all that stuff is prospecting. We're always trying to find more business.
Yes.
But those people, like you said, there's people working. I think we spoke about this right before the podcast.
Yeah.
Some people are working 8 to 5, 9 to 5 jobs.
Mhm.
While they still have a real estate license, because they just
Yeah.
aren't comfortable or secure about the business.
Exactly, and it's not nothing wrong with that, but don't blame the market. It's just because the more that you do, it's like everything. Once the baby start walking, they fail, but they keep moving forward, and
Yes.
start walking, and then you don't
Yes.
have to hold them anymore.
Right.
Same thing with real estate. You had to start somewhere, but you need to keep practicing and getting better and better. And people that they don't understand that you had to treat this as a regular job, never gonna make it.
Wow, I
honestly.
really love that. I love that, especially being a realtor as well, because we have been through a lot of down markets, just like you. The COVID-19 where, people are even thinking, oh, there's not going to be no homes for sale, or, I mean, there's people lined up, you know what I mean? And if
Right.
you're just one of those agents prospecting, like you said, then you're always going to have business, because we had business then, we had business when the last president was elected, this
Yeah.
new president that's elected, with all the things that are going on, we're still closing deals left and right.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure you heard the statistics for real estate agents. It was last year, most agents closed 0 or 1 transaction.
Wow.
And I know me and you and Eli as well, we would not be able to live off of 1 transaction a year.
There is
doesn't
no
happen
way.
here.
There is no way.
Right, no way. And
There's no
really,
way.
the only way we're staying afloat is the advice you just gave is you just have to keep prospecting and prospecting. Do you have like some secret, or what do you do for prospecting that you could share with the audience?
I do a lot of. I don't like. Well, I do a lot of call calling.
Okay.
And I do pay for advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
So people, just be on the phone all day, returning phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
And there is people that I always share, my ideas to, and everything to my team. But there is agents that if you provide them the leads, and then if they don't do it, if they don't return phone calls, when you are giving them the lead, because it's too hard to call or to return phone calls. I mean, imagine.
Right.
Right. So I love to be on the phone all day. I don't care. I prefer to be at the phone than doing open houses. I don't do open houses, to be honest. Only if I get the listing and if the agent, the homeowner asks me to do one, that's when I do it. But I don't do open houses. I don't do door knocking. I don't do any other kind of prospecting except being on my office and returning phone calls.
And with the phone calls, how do you like combat because I've done phone calls before. Sometimes there's like a lot of negativity or people hanging up on you. Like, where do you stand
You had
with
to kind of. It's funny because you had to kind of break the ice, talk to them. If you calling just tenants, an example, you can just ask them, how long you been there, what is holding you back, what is the reason that you haven't even find out if you can purchase a property. Everybody wants to own a house.
Yes.
So you just had to have a conversation, but not being like a realtor.
Okay,
It makes sense.
okay.
Like yesterday, I was talking to my team, to two of my good of my 2 agents, and I was like, "You guys haven't returned phone calls?" And they're old. I'm like, forget about why they call.
No
Just
way.
call them and ask them, are you interested in buying a house?
Right.
Introduce yourself, and then having the conversation, and then we start kind of role play, and they were like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense."
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's great advice too,
Yeah.
because let's be real, everybody's life changes almost every single day, even instantaneous. The moment we leave here, something else can happen, right?
Yeah.
We can consider, hey, maybe we should sell, or maybe we should buy. And you're right, like that cold lead could have actually became warm just by some family situation over that weekend. So calling Monday or Tuesday, the situation could be totally different. And now it's not a cold lead, now it's a hot lead. And we ran into this before when we ran our office in Rancho Cucamonga. We would tell our team to do the same thing, and I have nothing in the pipeline. I'm like, because you're not calling, or you're too lazy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that people have to shell off, and I think you've done a great job. Because you've been in real estate for how many years?
25 years.
25 years.
Amazing.
Guys,
Yeah.
25 years
Love
of
it.
real
25
estate.
years.
And that's why she's in this podcast, because she's got advice for people that want to be in this business. And that's why you run such a successful team in Long Beach, because people thrive when they're around you.
Yes.
Like when we work together, you have the ability to control your clients.
That's right.
And I've never once dealt with a client with you where you had no control. And that's the beautiful part about you.
No, because I mean, there is solutions for everything except except that, but there is solutions for
Right.
for everything in real estate.
Yes.
You know.
And I love that you have that mindset, because we were on the way to the podcast today, and I was talking with Eli, and he said the exact same thing. He's like, with these transactions, there's always a solution to everything. And
Yeah.
I'm like freaking out, and I'm like, you know what? Now that I think about it, there's a solution.
There is solution.
Always.
And there is last time that we met, you mentioned something about we treat people the same way. There is a lot of people or agents that cross qualify the buyers over the phone. I do too, but if I know sometimes that they're not gonna be ready to buy, but I still make that appointment, because if I tell them exactly what they need to do in 2-3 months, I know that they will come back.
Yes.
Like actually, I was talking to this guy. He's very popular in TikTok.
Okay.
He has his own company. like driving, like he helped people to get their driver license, like
Oh,
commercial
nice.
driver license.
Oh, cool.
And he's very popular in TikTok. I met with this guy like a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
and he texted me, and he's like, "Hey, can you call me when you're available?" He's like, "I told you that I'm coming back to you because
No
you
way.
sit down with me, you explain everything. Now my credit is great, blah blah blah,
Wow.
and and we're gonna start working with him
Wow.
very soon."
Oh my God.
So yeah, so even if I know that they're not ready now, I sit down and give them instructors or what they need to do in order for them to qualify.
Love
and
that.
and again, we work with a lot of referrals too. But why? Because we give them the time. 20
No.
minutes of my time can make me
Yes.
a few
Oh, of course.
X amount
good
of
money.
And you
Right,
have that,
right,
you have
right.
that persistence too, because there's one thing to prospect, but you got to be so persistent on that follow up, because without
Yeah.
that, prospecting could be just one call. Oh, I prospected. Well, are you
Yeah.
following up? Are you consistent on it? And I think that's so hard to teach because some people don't have it.
Well, there is systems that you had to have a system. If you don't have a system, you're just gonna write it down on your notebooks and that's it. You know.
That's
So
true.
every day that I show up to the office, I just turn my computer, open my system, and then if there's new numbers, I focus always in the morning on the new numbers, and then in afternoon I go through my every time that I had a conversation with someone with a lead, I always type out and I put notes like, you know, if I need to call them in 4 months,
Nice.
I drag that the name and phone number to my Google Calendar.
Oh,
So
wow.
so I know that once I open my Google Calendar, I'm like, who is Jose Perez or whatever, and then I'm like, oh, I go to my system, and then I'm
Yes.
like, oh, okay. So and
Wow.
I remember all my notes. So I call them back. Hey, remember how you doing? And
Nice.
then just follow up that.
Love
But
it.
I
Wow.
always connect my follow up system with my Google Calendar, so that way I can be on top of that.
That's a great concept. There's agents at certain offices that I work at. What they do is they have a calendar, but they have clients' birthdays, even their dogs' birthdays. It's crazy,
Yeah.
and they always make sure they call. Oh, hey, it's Wolfie's birthday today. Just wanted to let
Right.
you know. And just little things like that, following up on
Yeah.
things that mean like their heart for that person. They have this tendency to want to like talk to you. Now
Yeah.
you're building the friendship. So I think that's great advice. So if we go really, so now what I want to do is I want to go really back into
Okay.
Leslie's life, because Leslie, you're amazing, and we
Right.
love
Real
you so
estate
much.
queen,
You're a real
25
estate
years.
queen.
Love
So
it.
so you began, from what we know, we've only known you as real estate, and you're this powerful
Right.
entrepreneur
Yes.
female. So let's go all the way back. So where did you grow up, and where's your family at?
Grew up in Nayarit, Mexico.
Okay.
That's
How
my
long,
hometown.
How long were you there for?
Until 17.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just a couple years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago. I'm 21, so yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, okay, so you grew up in Mexico till you were 17.
Yes.
No way. How was growing up there? Did you have like a pretty moderate life? Was it poor? Was it rich? Like, how did you grow up?
I don't consider myself poor. I was very lucky to have a huge family. The youngest of the females I had 5 siblings, so I'm the 6th.
Oh, wow.
2 sisters and 3 brothers. My parents, we didn't have much
Okay.
on material stuff.
Yes.
I was the youngest. I never had any pair of brand new shoes.
Okay.
My husband said that that's why I have so many now. But,
Okay.
but
Replace.
when you young and you don't see the material stuff, we were very, very happy. My dad, it's my everything. I never have seen my dad drunk or say any bad words, or he always was like from work to home.
Wow.
My mom was a great what is it called, the home mom all the time. She never worked in
Like
her
a
life.
housewife?
Housewife.
Oh, yes.
So I was rich on that,
Oh, yes.
on clothes or stuff, material stuff. No, we had a really happy childhood
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Wow, that's beautiful.
with a
That's
very
beautiful.
close family.
And so just because you didn't have money, just the way your family was, it was like you were rich.
Mm-hmm.
That's so beautiful.
And
Love
what brought you from Nayarit to the United States? How
Well,
did that
my
happen?
dad came. My dad came first. His brother was here, so you know how it is. You know, so my dad all his life worked in construction, so we didn't have again material stuff. So we had a huge family to support, but food never like always. We always have food on our table.
Good.
But I think my dad wants to build a house, so he came to the States. And then after that, my mom came. It was like 3 or 4 years after. My grandma passed away, so my mom came, and I refused to come. So I was like,
Oh,
no.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
So your dad came alone without your mom.
without my mom.
And
And then my mom brought my youngest brothers, and then my sister and my other brother, you know. And I was the last one that I was refusing. I was going to school.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
wow.
But why'd you refuse so deeply? What
Because I
happened?
was living a good life, you know. I was happy. I was at school. I started college there, and I was living with this family that it was not. I mean, we're not like blood, but it was more like some friends, family friends, and I was okay. But
Okay.
when I started growing up, like they were super protected. They didn't let me go out to Naivela Plaza. So I'm
wow.
like, no, this
Okay.
is not for me.
Yeah.
So that's when I decided to come to my
Got
parents.
it.
Oh,
So
wow.
the
But they
res-
were here already.
so the restrictions from that family that wasn't blood related eventually made you say, all right, I'm going to go to America.
Correct.
Got it. And from that, so obviously now you're in America. You spoke only Spanish.
Correct.
And then you obviously learned English here at 17,
I'm
which
still learning from
well,
you
look, you
guys.
sound, you,
Love it.
you sound so good though
Yes.
in speaking the language, but it must have been difficult going from, because I learned only Spanish at home, but I was already in America, and I learned English in school. But you coming in at 17, how hard could that have
it
been?
was very hard. Actually, I got, like I said, I was in college. I was in a prepa there, so I was. So I brought all my documentation from Mexico, from school, and I went straight to high school, and I got my high school diploma. How?
Okay.
I don't know,
Wow.
but they told me what to do, and I was just doing it.
Wow.
They told me do homework. My youngest brother, like he used to help me to do my homework.
Oh,
Trying to
wow.
he used to explain everything to me. I was showing up. Actually, the last semester in high school, I was only taking 2 classes. I was
Okay.
getting off at 12 because
Okay.
I had everything completed. So
Wow.
I graduated from high school. I just did what they told me to do. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Mhm.
But
That's
you were
powerful.
still.
And it was hard on the language, of course.
Right.
But I came from when I was coming up with the family that I was raised. It was a very wealthy family in my hometown. So I had a drift of people because I grew up with people like business people. So I had a drift. When I got here to the States, it was my whole family, my parents and my siblings, and we used to live in 1-bedroom apartment.
Oh wow. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
One-bedroom
I
apartment.
mean, I'm sure that wasn't fun.
And you guys were a little bit older now at this
Yes.
point, right? Yes.
Everybody was
Everyone was
like on
older.
the teenagers.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we didn't complain, but I was like, I need to do something.
Yeah.
I need to do something.
Okay.
So I met this girl in high school. Actually, she was like, "You don't look Mexican. Like you dress different. I don't know, there's something different about you that you don't look Mexican."
Yeah.
And
What
I'm
does
like,
that
"Yes."
even mean, right?
Right? And
What
I'm
do I
like,
look
"No,
like?"
I'm Mexican."
You're
So
right.
she was born here. Her name was Melanie, and
Okay.
she was the teacher aide helping my English teacher. And she used to invite me to Taco Bell after school every day. And I always refused. I'm like, no thank you, no thank you. And she was like, one day she's like, why you never go to Taco Bell with me? And
Yeah.
I'm like, because I don't have no money.
Oh,
And she's like, what? I'm like,
No
no.
way.
And for her, like me telling her I didn't have any money,
Yeah.
she was like, what do you do? I'm like, what did your mom do? And I'm like, no. My mom used to take her 2 kids and they used to pay her nothing. She's like, oh, you know what? My mom works for this agency that they can help you to get you daycare license.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So again, they told me what to do, and I got my daycare license.
Oh wow, to
Daycare
take care of
license.
children.
Yes.
Wow.
At my
okay.
house.
Oh my god.
I would have never
Wait,
known.
in the one
Yeah.
bedroom apartment.
I started there.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I started there, and then I bought my first property in 1998 with the money of that from the daycare.
Really? Oh my gosh.
So hold on. So guys,
Wow.
so check this out. So she came straight from Mexico.
And I was graduating from high school.
When you
graduating from high school.
Mhm.
You got your
My daycare license.
daycare
got,
license,
wow.
Mm-hmm.
and you bought a house.
And I got a house.
No way.
Who has excuses?
Right.
This is
Oh
crazy.
my god. And, you're
And I
living-
speak in the language.
Wow.
Plus that, like in 6 months, they gave me the license for 6 kids. After a year, I got the license for 14 kids. And just
Wow.
imagine this. Back in the days, I used to make around $7,000 to $8,000 a month.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, on
Oh
a
my
daycare.
That's a lot of money on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, this is powerful.
Yeah.
right. I'm like, let's
Yeah.
Google how to do this.
I'm pushing everyone together, like home moms. Okay, get you license. At
Uh-huh.
least you take care of your kids. But
Wow.
everybody has different.
Of course.
Okay,
yeah.
so you're like what, 18 years old?
So I got my first property. I got married, and then no, I'm sorry, I didn't get it in high school. It was after, like 2 years after.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like 2 years after. I got the property. That's where my parents' property.
Okay.
Okay. I
Uh-huh.
remember when I told my dad, let's buy the house. He was like, no, how we gonna do it? You're crazy.
Really? Oh my god.
There is no way. And I
Wow.
was like, what I sign, what I need
No
to do,
way.
you know?
Oh my God.
And yeah, so I got that property, and I got married right after. And my husband, I didn't have papers back in the days.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
when I
Oh,
got my
wow.
first property,
Got
I
it.
couldn't do
God.
it.
So
Yeah.
you actually got a property and a job that was paying you $7,000 a month, and you didn't even have your papers yet.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is phenomenal to
That's
hear.
it,
Like,
that's-
oh my god.
Well, that makes so
Like,
much sense because the history that we've known about you, your work ethic speaks for itself. Like you're such a
Yeah.
hard worker.
Mhm.
So why wouldn't it have been like that back in the day? Because you
Yeah.
just have always been.
You
this
know,
person.
coming from where I'm coming from, and see all the opportunities. Before, I used to sell, like when I got here too, I used to sell perfumes with flowers and all the kind
Okay.
of stuff on
Yeah.
Mother's Day, Christmas Day.
wow.
For some reason, I always
Okay.
liked to, because it was no money in my house. It was
Okay.
my dad, and we didn't complain. You know, I
Right.
love my dad. He was doing the best, but I always was like, and I was kind of different on my sisters because and even my brothers were like, like, why,
kinda complain
like,
a
can I
Yeah.
borrow your
Yeah.
car? I bought my first car before anybody else, and I was
No
the last one
way.
that got here,
Oh my
Wow.
god. So you were the last one to get here and the youngest.
and the youngest.
And you're the one that's,
Yeah.
pushing yourself to, again, $7K a month, buying your own property,
Yeah.
doing all this while you're living, in a 1-bedroom apartment with all of your family. That could be so tough.
It would.
And it's what I said. Everyone here that has the language, they have documents, because it's getting harder and harder with that. But I know a lot of people that they don't have documents and they're doing so well. That has nothing to do. But I see these kids and I'm like, you guys can do so much better than me. Like you
So
guys,
true.
you had everything. You had the language. You guys looking good. You John. I
Right.
mean, there is nothing. My old broker told me that I used to be with Century. I was with Century 21 for 17 with them for 17 years.
Oh, wow.
Okay, wow.
Oh my god.
And I love Jim. His name was Jim Arterbeck. He used to tell us it's better to be. He told me you need to work hard now that you are able. It's better to be rich. I'm sorry, old and poor than poor and rich poorer than old and poor.
Yes.
It makes sense?
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Because
basically, you
it's-
want to be rich when you're old.
Sadly.
Right.
Or be comfortable.
Right.
Like if it's hard right now, just imagine when we all like.
Very true.
You know?
Very true.
Yeah.
I don't
makes
want to
sense.
be working my rest of the life. I cannot be home either too, but I mean,
Right.
it's just like for me to be home not doing anything, I can't do that.
Right.
And that's why you're successful. Because I mean, if you really think about it, being lazy right now while you're younger is such a dumb move, because when you're older, you don't have a choice.
You don't.
At that point, you're stuck with whatever you created. Like I see my parents, and they, you know, maybe you see the same thing with your parents in the past, but they only could do so much with the talents that they had.
Yes,
you know?
and I totally agree. It's just different eras, you know, like where we're coming from. Like even if my dad got here very young, but it was different mentally. Like even right now, I'm like, Dad, we're gonna do this, and he's like, nobody's too much, don't worry, let's just do it, you know. But he's always you know, like worry about money,
Right.
you know. Even if I'm like, it's okay, we can do it, no, but how, and you know, just like they don't the mindset. But I'm always take care of my parents since I got here, like all the time. Like my dad has, he doesn't worry about mortgages, insurance, anything. I mean, he worry about his kids, of course, but you know, worry about material stuff, he doesn't. I just got him a truck
Oh my God, congrats.
last year.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
It's just like,
yes, and it's all because the hard work that you put in, and you know,
I don't want him to worry about anything. He already did a lot.
That's beautiful.
You know, you don't see men like my dad. You know.
Yeah, no, that's
just like,
that's amazing.
There's not a lot of men out there anymore, to be honest.
And it's also not a lot of children that take care of their parents like you do. We are the same type of individuals like you know, right as we speak, we're taking care of our mom's house payment, and we're making sure that they don't have to spend any money. You know, they're collecting their like social security checks, whatever, but they don't have to pay their mortgage.
They don't have, and my dad worked all his life here, and he gets like, I don't know, like maybe $800,
right,
$840.
Yes,
what
very little.
What can they do with $800?
Exactly.
You know,
yes.
He has a mortgage. I mean, I covered the mortgage. He has a house, a big house. It's just him. You know, he has 2 cars. He travel. You know, he go to Mexico. I was able, when my mom was alive, I was able to send them to Europe.
Oh wow!
They went for a month.
Oh my gosh! A month in Europe? That is amazing. Oh
the last trip that they went together, like I sent them to a cruise from Miami. I flew them from LAX to Miami. They took a cruise all the way to Panama.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was, So I was able to do those things for my parents.
Okay.
Wow, that's
but this all comes from you working so hard, so young, always doing something, and like you said, prospecting, whatever you have to do to get ahead. I actually have a question about your past. I feel like this came from your past, but did you have somebody or something that inspired you to be this amazing person that you are today, to be able to have a team, to take care of your parents, sending them to Panama on planes all over? Like, it takes a lot.
I think it's the love of my parents and my siblings, because I always been one of those sisters, and I don't have anything, to be honest. Like, I don't like to brag, or I always share everything with my siblings, my nephews, and they know. They, you know, my parents. I always help everyone to be better. You know, I give you the opportunity, and that's what I like with the new generations, with all my nieces and nephews. I'm like, you guys can do so much.
Right.
I'm here to support you, but you had to do good. And whenever my siblings had problems, I'm always there for them. You know, it just, for me, number one, it's family.
Family.
Wow.
And the love of me wanting to see them well as well.
Wow.
And even like, thanks God, I'm like, when it comes to money, I'm there, but each of my siblings help in a different ways.
Nice.
Okay,
It makes sense?
Yes.
Like, it's not about money. Just like when I was, like, my sister, I had a sister that lived in Vegas. She used to come and help me a lot with my mom, you know? Like, whenever she had opportunity, she was here helping. And it has nothing to do with money. It's just, like, support each other.
Yes.
That's a great concept.
Wow.
Did you, so going back into, you were doing daycare, but then from there, did you go straight into real estate?
I think you said you got married.
I got married. So I was in the daycare, and then I got married, and my husband is from here.
Okay.
So we got married, and then we had a beautiful wedding, and we spent so much money there.
Oh, wow.
And then we
Love
rent
it.
this duplex, the back of the unit, and the landlord came in one day, and he's like, here, 30 days notice, you had to move out because my
Oh,
daughter
goodness.
is moving here. And my husband was like, what should I do? I'm like, well, just sign whatever, you know. And I started looking for property to leave, and everything was bad. Like the areas, I couldn't afford the areas that I really like, and I didn't want to move to a bad location. And so I saw a for sale sign on a house, and I'm like, let me call. So I call, and this lady answered the phone. She was from El Salvador.
Okay.
And we made that appointment. She was in Century 21. So I went to the meeting with my husband. So when I got married, my husband barely speak English. I don't know how we understand each other, right? But so yeah, so he was fighting with the lady. The lady hardly speak English. So I was. We purchased the house, and then on the whole transaction, I was just communicating with this lady, but something was missing. It was not, the language has nothing to do. Like I had a lot of Spanish, like I would say 80% of my clients are Spanish speakers, but I always give them all that information. I had a communication, but I didn't have that with this agent. So we closed the transaction, and then I started walking out. We went to sign loan that's at Century 21, and then I saw the sign like real estate school. And then I'm like, cool. Can I, like, if she was able to do it, I'm able to do
Wow,
it.
I love that.
So that's how I got my real estate license.
No way. So it was
Amazing.
kind
Because
because the lady that you guys were dealing with, or the realtor, she just wasn't giving you the right service.
The right service.
And you were like, wait, if this person can close the whole transaction,
Yeah.
then I could do it as well because I know that I
Yeah.
have a much more better personality or whatever. Maybe.
It was not that. I was
Okay.
like, customer service. Like I was
Customer service.
not happy with the, and I was okay because I'm more like calm. Mellow. Jim is more aggressive.
Yes.
And he want everything by the book, and I didn't understand what you're saying, and I'm like, but the way that she didn't have that communication, the customer service,
Got
so that's how I got my
Oh,
license.
wow. Okay.
Wow, that's a great story. I mean, and now, a couple years later, you're this amazing, successful real estate agent and entrepreneur. I mean, so to be truth, but I think there's such a great, portion of your story where anything's possible because you came from Mexico and now you're here in America, and you came at a very later age in your life. Coming here when you're almost an adult, basically an adult.
Yeah.
And learning English and getting a license. And
Yes.
I mean, there's so many people that are 18 right now that are American and don't know what to do.
They
at
don't
all.
know what to
They
do.
don't have a job. They're worried
Right.
about everything. They don't even go out there and hustle.
They're
don't
not
have-
worried about another language. They're not
Yeah.
worried about buying a
There
house.
is no drive.
Right.
It makes sense, and I think that has a lot to do with parents too.
Okay.
Because they don't. If we don't push our kids to do better, they're not gonna do it. It makes sense.
Yes.
Like I push my nephews. I had a lot of nieces and nephews, but I pushed them. Like one day I was at the hospital with my mom, and one of my nephews, he's 22. And I was like, okay, you graduate, no, I'm sorry, 21. I'm like, you graduate from high school, you didn't want to go to college, what you need to do? Oh, I've been applying. I'm like, no, you had to go back to school. Or you had to do this. So I sit down with him, I'm like, this is your choices. You're going to back to school, or you find a job. Or you come to the office. I don't push them to come to work with me because real estate is not for everyone.
Right.
It makes sense, and I don't want them to feel that pressure of me pushing them for to do same thing with my daughter. Like she has all the tools to come in. All my team learn everything from me, but the more that I push for her to come in, it's just like
it's not working.
So whenever she's ready, she's gonna be ready.
Right.
Okay,
right.
but so. I was at the hospital and someone came to visit my mom. One of my uncles, he had a really good job in this company. It's a Germany company. So I was talking to him, and he has a really good position. And I was like, they're hiding right now. And no, I asked for the kids, and oh yeah, so and so is going back to the company, and I'm like, oh, they're hiring right now.
Yeah.
I went, and he's like, yes. He told me exactly what to do. I got my nephew,
No way.
and I'm like, here.
Oh my God.
So
Okay.
right now he's making good money
Okay,
too,
that's good.
you know.
Love it.
But it got to the point that I'm hoping that he's gonna be. I can make more money with my tia,
Okay,
you know.
yeah,
But
yeah,
because
exactly.
they had to value the money first
Yes.
in order to want it more money.
Right.
Wow.
It makes
right.
sense?
It
That makes
does.
sense.
It
It
says
does.
our son, we also had him because he wants to do loans so bad,
Mhm.
and he wants to work with us and Eli. And the thing is, we had him start at Stater Brothers as a job, so he can understand how people are and he can understand money.
Mhm.
Because we felt like, yes, he wants it so bad, but also he has to understand the world.
Yeah.
And so that's why we kind of threw him into that first.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just like my daughter. She come and help me sometimes, and then when she comes the other day, she told me a couple months ago. She said to me, "Well, you want me to come with work for you, but all you're doing is be on the phone talking to people about kids, about this, about mom, about this,
Yes.
about that." I'm like, that's my job.
That's your job.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
It makes sense.
Yes,
You're
it
building
does.
relationship,
Right.
or if people come to the office, literally, like it's 5 minutes maybe talking about business and
Yes.
30 minutes talking about personal life.
Right.
I think people are confused about that. I feel like you're calling people and like, let me have your social security number. It's not
Yeah,
even like
that's
that. It's
not-
straight
no.
out like, how was your day? Oh, I
Right.
hear
Yeah.
a dog barking. How's your
Yes,
dog? Like,
exactly.
it's really mostly
Yeah.
building the relationship,
Mhm.
like you said. And then you get to the point a little bit in between, but even not that harsh. Because at the end, what's important is you want them to keep coming back to you,
Mhm.
which is why you've been in real estate for 25 years. Because you have people that keep
Yeah.
coming back to you
All the time.
that have bought and sold with you continuously, you know?
Yeah, all the time.
And I know, and this is a beautiful thing that you said, it's your family that has kind of inspired you, because sometimes we have guests and it's like, oh, it was my mom, it was my dad, or it was myself, and your answer is a beautiful answer. It was like your whole family.
It's the whole family.
That's beautiful.
It's just like we are very close. We fight like every family.
Yes.
Don't take me wrong.
Right.
But the most of the time, it's just like we all, like even if we don't, I have my older sister is in Mexico. She has 2 kids. I help them to go one to medical school. Actually, both. One it's
Wow.
what's it called? Nutrologa? How you say nutrologa? Nutrologist?
Oh yeah.
Neurologist? Is it for the brain?
No.
Oh, I know what you're trying to.
Nutritionist?
Nutrition.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
nutritionist. There you go. There you go.
I help them with their careers. My nephew, he's going on his second career too. When he call me, I'm like, okay, he's super smart. Like whatever they need. Like, I'm used to pay their rent because they send it once they were doing their service, like for the career, they send them to different places outside of the town. I used to pay the rent, meals, and everything. I always
wow.
was helping
Oh my God.
them, and I help each of my nephews too and my nieces. Like whatever they want, I'm here. But you have to do something with
That's
your life.
beautiful. So it's
You know?
it's kind of like basically your family helped you to be inspired, and now you're helping more of your family. It kind of like
It's
is a
just
treat.
like it's just like I cannot. And my daughter said, "Well, you always say that you want to have a boy." I'm like, "But you already had so many boys, But that's my nephews. And, but I always, I mean, I would feel bad if I know that someone needs money, like really need money to go to school, or something that. And I'm not gonna do it if I have it. If I don't have it, that's a different story.
Okay,
Of course.
yes,
But
yes,
if I able to help them to be better, I will do it.
Love that.
And again and again.
Love
You
that.
have a really big heart. Let's talk about something that you're very experienced in real estate. So 25 years. I would love to ask you a very more deep question about real estate. So if you could think about just one transaction that was the absolute worst. So what's one transaction that just there was, whether it's the client, whether it's the listing agent, something that where you still closed the deal, but maybe it was just chaotic. And do you remember maybe one transaction that was just absolutely like
I
like a
have one
terror?
right now.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
wow.
I have one right now. We open escrow. Really nice people. It's a referral. As a previous client referred them to me. and we did a physical inspection. There was a few issues with the property. We request some repairs to be done. They did. The seller agree, and now they have more problems on the property. And now the home warranty, it's not like, oh, I'm not covering this. So, and it's another thing. It's a rule as a real estate agent. It's a really good to have the connection with home warranties, because when my client called me that the home warranty was not gonna cover, actually they were calling me right now. That's what
my
I just remember
Oh, wow.
that. I called the home warranty and I say, why it's not gonna be covered? And it's just like, oh, let me take a look. Oh, we're not gonna cover it because it was a previous issue, and as you know, we're not gonna be able to. I'm like, okay, do you match it there and let me know. Then she called me yesterday, 20 minutes after the conversation. She's like, guess what? We're gonna cover it just for you. We usually don't, and we're
No
talking
way.
about a lot of money.
Right.
So they're going to, and the client is upset. They're like, when it's not. But we don't have control of that.
Right.
course.
As
right,
a realtors, they were like, "Oh, we're coming after you." That I'm like, I did what I supposed to do.
Yes.
Do my physical inspection
Right.
with request for repairs. Now more issues are coming. You're not coming after me. You have to
Right.
go
Of
after
course.
the seller.
Yes.
It makes sense. So, and it's a horrible thing because it's so much as that we can do as a realtors when
Right.
it comes to repairs.
Right. Right.
You know,
right.
so it's that, and I feel for them, but I'm doing my best to,
Yes.
And,
For-
and that's good that you're able to find a solution, because
Yeah.
you could be scared to be like, I'm not doing this transaction,
Mhm.
and you could walk away because it really is a mutual agreement.
Yeah.
And I've seen agents say, I don't want you as a client, and then they cancel and send it to someone else. And I've actually seen that happen, but you don't. You like stick through it and
Yeah.
you figure it out.
Yeah. Once we are, I didn't have any, like once we in escrow that I had a really bad relationship with the buyers. I don't think so that because I always try to explain everything to the homeowner.
Like the
I mean, to the buyer, the
relationships.
relationship.
Right. Yes.
And
yes,
it's just
yes.
like, I had people, they always ask me, when I'm going to give notice to my landlord that I'm moving out. I'm like, don't give any notice.
Right.
But I had to pay another month. I'm like, we had a schedule escrow to close on the 17th, but if we don't close on the 17th, I don't want for you to become homeless.
Right.
Yes.
You know?
Right.
And I never told them give notice.
Love
It's
that.
up to you
Love
as
that.
a buyer. If you want to take the risk, I don't want for you to show up on my office with you
Yeah.
haul.
The luggage.
No, because
Yes, yes.
they need to understand the whole process too.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but sometimes clients get upset, but they just need to understand that we are a team, like the lender, myself, and we are working together
Right.
to make things happen. You know,
Yes.
but communication is the key.
Communication.
I love that.
That's great advice, and I
Yeah.
think that's true. Sometimes the clients forget that there's a realtor, there's a mortgage officer, there's
Yeah.
a title rep, there's a escrow. There's so many different people, but because we're the face of the transaction, they're kind of like, well, we're gonna come after you,
Right.
and then it's like just kind of like you said, well, no, that's not me that you should
It's
be coming
not-
after.
yeah,
The
exactly.
seller maybe.
Yeah, but buyers gonna always gonna come after wanted to come after us, but
Yeah.
legally,
Legally, yes.
they
Right.
can't.
No,
If
yes.
we did everything by the book.
Right, and
I agree.
even then, you still went the extra mile and you talked to the home warranty
Yeah.
company, which even after escrow closes, they're supposed to be doing this, but you stepped in and you even got them to approve something that most of the time they will not do.
Yeah.
Like you said, they did it just because it was you.
Exactly.
So that extra mile, it's just always counts so much too.
Right.
You know.
Mhm.
But I know Eli asked you about something that may have went really bad in real estate, but. Because I want to know this. I have a question for you because you are such a positive person. You've helped so many people. You're helping your family. You've done so much for yourself, and it just seems like you're just this person that can go. Have you ever had a time in your life where you were just like, you were beat? You were just like, I can't do this anymore, laying in bed, and then for whatever reason you were able to pull yourself out of that dark moment? Like, have you had a really dark moment that really got to you in your life and you kind of had to reset?
There is few times. Like I said at the beginning, everything has solution except the day.
Okay,
Dead.
yes.
I lose one of my youngest brothers years ago,
Oh, wow.
and I think that's what after that make us be more like appreciate the family, your siblings, and I was there strong for my parents. Like if I had the pain, I couldn't imagine my mom's pain losing a child, and so I was always the strong ones. At the moment, I didn't like cry. Took me 2 years actually to realize that he was not here. Like you know,
goodness.
I was the strongest person for the whole family, and I, after 2 years, I was just devastated. But
Wow.
I remember my daughter was like 7 or 8. She's like, "Mom, it's okay, it's okay," and I knew that it was okay. But just to realize that, I think that was on my lowest moments.
And like what? Because that's
in
really
life.
tough losing your younger brother, having to see your whole family go through it. Like what? How were you able to pull yourself out of that?
You had no choice. Yeah, when you know that you had to keep going because if my salary is completely different than my dad back in the days, but coming where I was coming from, like there is no other choice. So you get up, get ready, and show up. Like we all go through stuff, but we
Okay.
just had to do. Like it's like people that has regular jobs. Yeah, you take your moment, but if you don't go to work, nothing is gonna happen. You're not gonna get a paycheck. Same thing. It's just like, I think more than anything, it's just like you want the best for the family and the least worry about money, about how we're gonna pay or electricity. You know, I want my parents to be okay, and I want the whole
Yes.
family more than anything.
Oh wow.
My daughter.
Yes.
You're so inspiring. Like, no
Right,
wonder we
right,
work
right,
together.
right.
This is
Yeah.
crazy. So you know, so you have a lot going on for yourself, and you have this huge potential. 25 years of real estate it's like 25 years of marriage. Like you've been married to real estate for like a long time.
And speaking of marriage, before you answer this, are you still with your original husband?
Yes.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
the OG. Okay,
I had to
was
ask
afraid
that.
to ask
I
that.
had to
I'm
ask
like,
that.
I
Why?
don't know.
He's
You never
so
know.
he's very antisocial. He doesn't. You guys met.
Yeah,
him.
he's
He's just like
definitely
hi and bye,
antisocial.
and that's
Uh-huh.
it.
Yeah.
He doesn't like the showing off.
Uh-huh.
Like oh, you guys, you go.
Yeah.
You know. So a lot of
Right.
people assume. Yeah, but
Okay, love it. Okay, do you? And
He-
I'll let you ask the question in a
Yeah.
moment. But do you have a secret? Because it's what 25 plus years of marriage.
25.
Oh my gosh, do you have like
We
a
fight,
secret?
but we don't fight. You know how it
Okay,
is.
okay.
But that's part of life. You know, I
Mhm.
think that he's more mellow. You know, I'm the more like on the go. Like,
Okay.
why this haven't been done?
Okay.
Why that? You know,
Yes.
like. But that's part of.
Mm.
You know.
So you guys
love
kind
it.
of balance each other out. There's one that's a little bit more reserved, and then
Yeah.
there's one that's a little
Oh,
bit more out there.
Jimmy loved to be home.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
just imagine being with me and Angelina.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we go out, like, oh, let's go. He's like, oh no, this is my break away from you guys. I don't want anyone to
my
be telling me
God.
what to do.
Oh wow, love that, love that.
That's funny.
You know,
Okay,
but
that's a good,
yeah,
that's a good way
but
to go. at it.
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I can't even walk in a different room without him being there. So I'm
No.
like, can I have a break?
Is
We
that like,
had-
let's go here?
Right, right,
Wow.
right.
We had our actually. Like every time that we go places, he's just like, no, you know.
Mhm.
And we learned that, like, we went to Cancun together, and the most of the time he was in the AC,
Oh my
you know,
God.
in the room enjoying
Okay.
the AC.
Love it.
And then the third day he came out, he's like, why you guys didn't tell me it was so beautiful up
Oh
here?
my God.
I'm like, come on, Jimmy.
Dude.
Love that.
It's like,
Oh
but
my
no,
God.
yeah. So
And your daughter, how old is she?
she's gonna be 19
Oh my
Wow.
God,
on
19.
Tuesday.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday if you're watching
birthday.
this. Love
See,
it.
you didn't want to come.
Right? We wanted you
could've been
here.
here.
We wanted you in the audience chair.
So you're giving so many words of wisdom. So let's talk about your future. So you have a great past. You brought up everything from, you know, you didn't grow up poor. You grew up sufficient.
I
it
was
sounds.
poor, but I didn't see that.
Right.
It makes
right.
sense?
That makes
Yes.
sense. That makes sense.
Like we didn't have anything.
Like
we
living
wouldn't-
wise, you're poor,
Yes.
but energy wise, love wise.
You're rich and abundant in that.
Yes. Like I didn't see that I was poor.
Right.
It makes
Right,
sense.
right.
Like
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
food,
it does.
we always have food on the table. Clothes, shoes, material stuff. No, we didn't have all that stuff. But yeah, if
That's so
that's
beautiful.
cool, that's fine. But
That's so
I didn't
beautiful.
see that then.
Right, and that's beautiful because
Yeah.
a lot of our guests, when we
And-
ask them and they are poor, they will make sure that they put it across that they
Yeah.
were poor, they didn't
Right.
have anything, but
Yeah.
you're looking at it totally different.
There is a picture. I had two sisters, so I'm the youngest, and I remember that story. Like, but my sister brought it up, and I didn't have no shoes. My shoes were too tight for me to go to school, and you
Wow.
had to wear uniforms and black shoes. And my dad went to someone that used to sell shoes on my hometown to see if they were like fiados, like give me the shoes and I pay you monthly or whatever,
Okay.
like.
Oh my gosh.
And the guy was like, no, I cannot do that. So my shoes didn't fit me to go to school.
Oh my god.
So what he did, my dad, he's like, oh, we got home. And then I couldn't walk with the shoes because they were too tight.
Way too tight.
So he got my shoes and my dad opened the front. He cut it off. I'm going to send you a picture.
No
So there is a picture of me and my sisters, and I have my shoes and my toes are out.
Oh my god.
But I was able to walk.
Wow.
It makes sense?
Oh my
So,
god.
but I was happy because I
Uh-huh.
was able to walk with my
Okay.
shoes.
Wow.
And my toes were out,
Oh my god.
but I had shoes. It makes
Wow.
sense?
Wow.
So there is a picture of me and my two sisters wearing the school uniform. And my sister, she remind me about the story. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about it.
Oh my god.
makes
Because you were
sense.
you were so not looking at the poor side of things that even when your sister showed you the picture, you even forgot about that moment.
I forgot about
Wow.
that.
Because your mindset was always like, I'm happy, I have food, I have the nice
Yeah.
family that I have, the loving family.
If you tell me when you got a brand new dress, I don't remember because it was my older sister first, and then she passed it to the middle sister, and then they passed it to
Wow.
me.
Oh my
It makes sense, but it's okay. That's life, and that I
Wow.
think unconscious. Maybe it's unconscious thing that's what I do. What I do.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
So,
Wow.
so going back to my question, so 25 years of real estate, and where do you see yourself? Let's just say 5 years from now. Do you still want to go to the 30 years of real estate, or is there something else in the works?
I love what I do. I don't like to be home. What I'm gonna be doing at home all day.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Sometimes
Agree.
I stay there,
Uh-huh.
but it's boring.
Right. Yeah.
And then they start asking you what we're gonna eat
Uh-huh.
for lunch and then
Yeah.
for dinner.
Right.
And yeah, and the kitchen and I, we don't get along.
Oh wow.
So,
okay.
Wait,
I
the
prefer-
kitchen and you don't get along?
No,
Or
we
the-
don't.
the
I don't
kitchen and you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've never heard that before.
That is so good. That is so
Shame
Yeah,
on
good.
you,
we don't-
kitchen.
Hey, he
Yeah.
doesn't get along with the kitchen
Not,
either.
yeah,
so.
she
What?
loves
Just
the
saying.
kitchen. No.
I
Yeah.
love the
Yeah.
kitchen.
No. So yeah, sometimes I stay home, but and
Okay,
then if I stay home, I feel that I'm wasting my time.
Yes.
It makes sense?
Right.
Like sometimes I'm just gonna stay, like easily can stay home and I'm still making good money because like we don't. But
Of course.
if I feel
Right.
that I'm wasting my
Yes.
time,
Right, right, right.
and I have so many projects to do. I do want to retire, but
Okay.
when I'm not able to, like,
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a
to
good
be-
one.
Like in
You know what I'm
100
saying?
years.
yeah,
A long time.
but I want to I had income properties where I get my cash flow. I want to have more of that.
Yes.
I have plans, like I'm building a house right now in Mexico.
Oh my gosh.
I got some land by the beach in a hill that it has a beautiful sunset.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
I want to build there.
Wow.
It's just like so many things that I want to do.
I love this.
I'm building an ADU right now on one of my income properties
Oh my
to rent it
goodness.
out and make extra cash. It's just like I want to have more cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You know?
That's a great way. So in essence, you're going to continue working till you
Yeah.
can't. But however, you love what you do. You've actually created a new way of me thinking of what wealth really is.
Right.
Like it's not really money; it's just what's inside and who you surround yourself with.
I have met people that really have money.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had no idea.
Mhm.
My old broker, his family, they all 25% of Long Beach, I would
Oh
say.
my gosh.
And there are the more simple people in the world.
Wow. Wow.
You know, and money has nothing to do with how rich we are. Yeah, money can buy happiness. Yes, we can go eat in a nice restaurant. We can buy stuff, but it's just that money. Money
Yes.
comes and go. I just lose my mom in August. My mom passed away December 20 on Christmas Day actually,
My goodness. God bless
and
again.
it's just hard. Um, it it's just hard to keep going.
Yes.
But what I'm gonna do? Just sitting
Yeah.
and crying.
Oh my God.
Understood.
You know, like again, and then my grandma passed away last month.
Oh
my
my
dad's
gosh.
mom.
God bless. God bless.
And yes, I took some time off. I went to Mexico for the first time in my life. I didn't get a ticket back. I was like, just gonna stay here until, you know, and I was able to do it. Why? Because real estate. It makes
Wow.
sense. But what else we're gonna do? Like if I'm able to sell houses and I think honestly that I'm helping people to change their life because they
Wow.
really do. Once they purchase a property, it's I'm changing their life. And right now, in social media, we see a lot of people that are post. I don't post. And I told my team yesterday that I was gonna come with you. I was like, we need to post more. I'm like, yeah, but the numbers are good because we are
Right.
producing.
Yes,
Who cares
yes.
about social media? And I'm like,
Exactly.
yeah, but we need more. You know, I'm like,
Yes.
but at the end of the day, we are producing.
Yes.
You know, we are producing. We are making money. We just, you know, like again, we are doing what works. And social media right now, there is a lot of people that are posting too. That are selling. They're not selling anything.
Right.
course.
They just,
Yeah.
they just. That's what it is right now. You
Yes.
know, social media. But the numbers may, you know, like once the money come into your bank account, and I believe coming where I'm coming from, the experience from my old company, we are surviving and we all
Right.
good.
Oh
Yes.
my
You
God.
know,
Yes.
we are good. I was sharing some stuff yesterday with the team, and we were just laughing, like, you know, what we've been through. But at the end of the day, all these kids has the drive. One of my
Yes.
agents just bought a
Yes.
property for their parents too.
Wow.
Same thing with, you know, because they see me. And I always tell them,
Wow.
everyone in my office, remember what we do. It's for our families. At the end of the day, we're here for our families.
Wow. That's so
Great
beautiful.
message.
That's so
is,
beautiful.
Is there something, so you have such a history, and I'm sure there's people that are going to watch this podcast that don't know what they're doing or are lost or have been in the same boat you've been, like where maybe they are from Mexico or from a different country and trying to build here. Looking at that camera, is there a message maybe you can
A
give
message.
to somebody?
With the young generation, don't take me wrong. Like when I was when I was in Century 21, I was coming from a huge company. We were almost 200 agents. A lot of agents from my age or a little bit younger than me that they asked me to come with me. I say no. Only one agent. I say yes. But at my age or 40s, 35s, 40s, if you didn't work hard on your 20s, you're not gonna work hard now.
Right.
It makes sense.
Right.
Makes sense.
But on the new generations, like all my team are success. So, but again, treat this as a regular job. Real estate, you can make good money, but not just because you have one escrow, it means that you're not gonna be prospecting. If you close this escrow, you're not gonna have nothing next month.
Right.
So it's prospecting is the key.
Wow.
You know, and you guys have all the time, just treat it as a regular job. I keep saying that, and I always tell my team, I'm sorry I keep saying, but that's what works.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And there is no shortcuts. There is no need to do shortcuts.
Wow.
And that's a powerful statement because we are loan officers and real estate agents as well. And we have so many other fields of work where we're doing this podcast, we're doing Style Me videos out in public, we're doing just so many different things. And the one thing that we haven't stopped doing, again, and just like you keep saying it, is we also have not stopped prospecting. And that's what's
We-
keeping us going.
We had to do it.
Yes.
Like if
A
you
must.
if you don't prospect, no one is gonna come. Especially if you don't have the year of experience where you can get referrals.
Mhm.
You
Yes.
had to,
Yes.
you had to put the time
Yes.
in order for you. And even like I get referrals. You know, like I had clients right now that are in escrow, they're referrals, but I was prospecting, but I had two more escrows because I was prospecting.
Right.
It makes sense. So I had my
Yes.
referrals, and that's what I have right now in escrow.
Yes.
It makes sense.
Amazing.
So
Wow.
Yeah.
And
It sounds like at the end you can only complain to yourself because
Exactly.
it's your own action that's putting you
it's
behind.
it's our choices.
Mhm.
It's I my daughter grew up with that. Um, it's our choice. Whatever happened to us is because it is our choice. If we are in a
Yes.
bad moment, in a bad situation, it was my choice. I put myself there, and we had to take 100% responsibility for it. I cannot blame the market. Back in the days on 2000, I think you were at the business 2007, 8, 9, 10.
Yes.
Oh my God, I sold so much. And
you
on
sold
COVID,
so much?
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
was doing very
My
good on
gosh,
those
yeah.
on COVID too.
As well.
On COVID too. On COVID, I had to bring it up, but on COVID, I was number one on my previous company.
Yes,
Wow.
yes. Many times.
Yeah.
I think we know.
And people didn't realize it, but I was number one, and there were people that had a better looking or better personality that they give the credit to them, which is totally fine. I don't
Right.
care because I'm not into it.
Yes.
But I was on numbers. I was number one for the
That's right.
company.
Yes,
That's
that's
when
right.
I got that trip to where we
I
went
think
to
Puerto Rico or
No,
Virgin Islands?
Virgin Islands.
Virgin Islands,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
But
yes,
on
yes.
numbers from the agents, I was
Yes.
number one.
Wow.
Amazing.
So,
Amazing.
but at the end of the day, it's okay. I'm not on social media. I'm not looking at that. All that comes and goes.
Yes.
Yes.
It makes sense.
It does.
The
But
most,
prospecting does not go. You have to
yeah,
keep doing
you
it.
have to keep pushing more than anything.
Yes.
Well,
Amazing advice.
thank you so much, Leslie. Like
Right.
seriously, this
Oh
is
my
an amazing
gosh.
podcast. Like I
Definitely.
appreciate you coming all the way out here
Right.
to
No,
Beverly
thank you.
Hills.
Thank you for
Right,
having
right.
me.
No, for
Literally,
sure.
I know
literally,
feels funny here.
Oh right, yeah, because our previous company we used to work together
Yeah.
right around the
Yeah.
corner. So
But you know what? I had a really good friends from Century 21,
Uh-huh.
and it's amazing the support. Even if we don't see every day, even if we don't call every day, you know, and I know what kind of people you guys are.
Yes.
You know, more than
Right.
anything, I go by the inside, not the exterior.
I love that.
It makes sense, and
Love that.
especially right now with everything that going on
Yes.
social media,
Right.
they're losing that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Honestly,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
losing that part,
Right.
and
Yes. Yes.
it's sad.
And with that happening, you're still gaining. You're one of the top realtors. We were in your office. We saw all the numbers. And
Yes.
you're doing so amazing. It's so amazing, too, to see that, you coming from a previous company, your team was with you the whole way through.
The whole way.
And,
Same members
you
I
know,
have.
Same,
Yeah.
same people.
Same.
And even from years later, they're still there. We were just at your
So
office,
true.
and it's amazing
Mm-hmm.
to see that they're all still there. And it just shows what type of leader you are, partner, because that's so rare to come by.
It is.
When teams break up, when people leave companies, it's like everyone goes their own way. It
Mm-hmm.
even happened with us. But
Mhm.
you're one of the ones where everyone stood with you. Everyone is on your
Everyone
team
is there.
still, and numbers are amazing.
And it's a beautiful, because these kids that are with me, like they're doing amazing stuff.
yes,
They're
yes.
doing, and they, again, the values, the money, it's okay, this value, but you have to put the values, which is the
Yes.
most important. I
Of course.
respect them, they respect me. They ask for advices. One of my agents just he's 24, he just bought their parents a property
Oh my God!
You know, and it's
Congratulations.
just like-
Congratulations.
for $1 million.
Yeah. Oh my God!
Yeah.
$1 million. Love
I
it.
mean, yeah,
And for
who
the
buy
parents.
and for the
That's
parents.
amazing.
That's amazing.
Oh my God!
So yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
Love it. Love it.
Powerful.
you had to be more here than.
Yes.
I mean, it's connected, but
Mhm.
it's always, treat everyone as your family.
I love
Wow.
that. And also, I just, everyone watching this again, you're sitting with us here today from having shoes, going to school with open shoes that your dad had to literally cut open,
Yeah.
to sitting here today building properties in Mexico on mountains with sunsets
yeah.
and properties all over California,
Yeah.
and having many numbers in real estate. This is just amazing to hear your story, and I know it's going to help others out there, so thank you so much.
Yeah, if I was able to make it, and you guys, everyone that is in real estate and or want to become a realtor, there is so much potential. There is so much business. There is business for everyone.
Yes.
We're
Yes,
not a
yes.
competition. There is
Right.
so much business for everyone. But just the best advice that I can give is just treat this as a regular job
Love it.
if you want to be success.
Love it.
Love
So
that.
powerful.
Powerful message.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for sharing this moment with us. And Leslie, if you want to find her, Leslie Ocampo on
Yes.
Instagram. And we're definitely going to share these reels for you guys to see. And also our YouTube channel will have this entire podcast. Guys, thank you so
Yes.
much. Leslie,
Thank
thank you for
you.
being here.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you for
being
having
here.
me.
We love your
I
story.
was
Thank
scared
you.
to come.
Oh
I was
my
like,
God.
why?
Don't be
You did
scared.
so
Don't be
good.
scared.
We love you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
for
you
being
guys.
here.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.